ready? Go ahead.
We'll screw it up royally for him.
Okay. Yeah, sir.
I always have a great time when I bring a TV outfit in. So some of them have been alerted, you know. Go ahead.
All right. What do you remember most about December 7th, 1941? Loaded question.
I mean, that morning when I get hit, okay, probably two different items. One, when I first got hit, I picked myself up and I'm standing on the fan rail, and I'm wondering where the gun. I was running ammo test, I'll tell you that, 3-inch. I'm wondering where the gun crew went. But anyway, I'm standing there, and for some reason, I felt my feet felt wet. And I looked down, and one of the holes in my left leg had blood coming out. Boy Scout, stop the bleeding. I took my finger and I pushed it on the hole, and my finger went into my leg to the skin joint. I figured I'd rather bleed. And all this happens within seconds, I suppose. About that time, some officer spotted me and how they get that man sick. The other thing I remember, after they had me sitting on a deck for a while, then they finally put me into a bunk. And there was a radioman third, Osman. Well, evidently that was his battle station, you know, helping the medics with wounded. And I saw him, so I said, "Hey, Ozzy." And he came over to the bunk and he looked at me and he said, "Who are you?" And I figured either something's wrong with me or something's wrong with him. So, excuse me. Check these young ladies. I'll edit it too. I said, "It's Hyland." To this day, I could just see him. He's backing away, going, That's what I read.
Okay. Why do you think the Japanese attacked?
We had him in a corner. The same old thing. They wanted the raw material. They needed oil, and we were going to stop them. And what they did was they used Yamamoto was the one who designed the shenanigans here. And even though he designed it, he told them don't do it. He was overridden. Too many people were well, like even the Prime Minister at the time was Tojo.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Oh, thank you. No, it's and all they wanted to do was to cripple the fleet, which they did, which allowed them to do what they wanted. And they did. They took the rest of what they needed. But the same thing happened. He said, you know, he knew us because he lived here. He lived here. He went to school here too.
Harvard.
So, you know, he knew it as, you know what I've often, what is your first name?
Colin. Colin.
Colin?
Yeah.
You know what I've often wondered? Had he not been killed, what would they have done? You know, they wouldn't have dared to hang him at the end.
Sure.
You know, it would have been interesting because, let's face it, he was respected. But it's probably for him, it's the best thing that could have happened. But I've often wondered about that.
What do you think of Japan today and how it's changed over the years? Because today it looks nothing like it did in 1941.
Yeah, I think it's the greatest country in the world. No, people go there for different things. You know, one of the cultural things I had no trouble with were the onsens, the hot springs. I like those too. You know, we get over there and 10 minutes off the bus, and I've seen enough of the family. Before we leave here, we have all our reservations for not just where we stay, but also for the hot springs we're going to go to.
So your view of Japan has greatly changed.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Well, you've lived there.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a beautiful country. We had a bosun mate here one time. Our boat crew, this was years ago. He's been 3 years old. Such a. I asked him one time if he ever got up into Honshu. Again, did you get the hot springs or even over to Oita, the other side of Kyushu? He said, no, you never got past the first bar room outside the gate, and I figured, no wonder you're what you are. Like I had 13 years, he was 30.